All right, hey guys, Sam here with you. So I'm going to start this new series here of FX videos and FX trading. And my goal here is to demonstrate how this can be entirely contained within TradingView. They have really, it's gotten so good, there really is no reason to go anywhere else. And since the majority of you have all got a TradingView account, I wanted to put the emphasis here on using TradingView. Now, I will tell you, this is a slight adjustment for me. Only in that I've been trading Forex for so long that I have, well, prior to TradingView, you know, if you go back 10, 15 years, the only choice for retail traders, well, not the only choice, but the dominant platform for retail traders to access the foreign exchange markets was through MetaTrader 4, which you're going to bump into if you're Googling around looking at things. You can see it's very popular, very robust, very stable, been around, I would tell you probably 80–90% of retail trading happens on MT4. There's a lot of value to MT4. But if I were starting today from scratch and I were just entering Forex markets and I was looking at platforms, I think I would be very inclined to stay entirely within TradingView. You just don't need to go anywhere else or incur any of those costs. Now, I will tell, of course, every foreign exchange broker on the planet is going to give you a free version of MetaTrader 4. They want to make it easy for you to trade. That's how they make money. So they want to make it easy for you to get into the market, easy to start trading. They want to make it easy for you to start experimenting. So every single retail broker is going to give you a demo account, probably an unlimited number of demo accounts so that you can start and practice, much like TradingView now has a full paper trading, so you can simulate the experience. So most of my trade, damn near all of it now, is run through MetaTrader 4, but I'm in the process of really starting to switch over because I want it to be consistent with what I'm showing you guys. So this is partly, so I'm sort of in mid-transition. So I still have all of my Forex trading capital on an MT4 broker. But I'm going to show you how we can replicate pretty much everything that I'm doing over there here on TradingView. And I may end up just switching all of my data over here because it's so easy. And I think it's just as good, if not better in some ways, than what you're going to find on MT4. Now, MT4 has its place. I still use it essentially every day. I'm using it as a scanner. I'm looking for things like channels, median lines, harmonics. That's a subject we haven't really gotten into, but I'm looking for particular things that are interesting to me or that may draw me into looking at a particular pair. But damn near everything that I'm showing you can be replicated here in TradingView. So let me just show you a few things. So just over here on the main page, if you go to markets and then we go to currencies is the header here. We can look here and we start with the majors. All right, so this is the bulk. This is the focus of pretty much everything that you want to be paying attention to with regards to how you're choosing what to trade. So you have 7 majors here. Right? And now you can see all the exotics here and the minors, right? There's a place for those, but well, let me say it this way: 85% of all of the trading in the Forex markets involves the U.S. dollar. These are the major crosses against the dollar. So you absolutely want to be paying attention to these 7. So when I set up a screen here, a template, so I have it labeled as FX majors. You want to use the one that will give you 8 squares, right? So I will have those seven major crosses against the dollar, and then I keep gold down here as well, which essentially trades like a currency. So this is a good layout here. Now, there's a few things to note here. So one thing that you may struggle with just a bit, if you're used to having two or 3 squares here, usually there's a little pop-up for that square right here on the chart. But when you have this many, you have to highlight the square. So in this case, I'm highlighting the Aussie, and then you have to go to the pop-up, right? Just a little something. It took me a second to figure it out here, so I just referenced that for you. So in all of these, I'm going to have my current primary count on them, so I can, if I want to go to something quickly, I want to see how fits in with the broader count that I might be in. I typically will keep these on daily or 4 hour. Right, I always want to look at the daily. I want to know where we are. Is there a count in play on the daily? If I'm going down below that to the 4 hour to the 1 hour, it's because I'm trying to confirm a count. Right, but always, first place to start is with the daily chart. Where are we on the daily? Now let me bring that back. Okay, so you've got your 7 majors and gold set up here, and I would encourage you to at least have this somewhere so you can always reference it. Now, in addition to that, I don't know if you guys realized it, but this little calendar key over here, right? So I can highlight that, and this is absolutely essential to Forex trading. You absolutely, positively must pay attention to any economic reports that are coming out that can affect any of these majors. So a couple of different ways you can do it. So you can filter these. So if you just hit the filter, so you see I have it set on these majors. So I've got the dollar, the euro, the Aussie, the yen, the Canadian, the UK, or the pound here. So I want to see reports that are going to be affecting those currencies here. So you can filter those here. So additionally, you can actually put them on your chart if you prefer to do it that way. And I'll show you that in a second. But you want to have this over here. So here we are on February 12th. We see what's already come through, right? I have these filtered. So I want red is high impact. The gold is medium impact. So I still want to see those, right? Potentially market moving. Now, so you got to understand a couple of things with Forex. Right? It's the basic premise of how the pairs move and trade. It's really pretty simple, and it should make sense to you. It's the simple idea that money moves to where it's treated best, right? Which is essentially just a simplified way of saying interest rates are influencing where capital is allocated around the globe. Right now, there's a lot going on in the Forex market beyond just speculation, of course, right? The primary purpose is people hedging, currency exposure, but the speculators are in here to provide liquidity, right? And there's more to it. I don't want to oversimplify it, but at its base level, that's the premise, right? Where is money going to be treated best, right? So a country with high interest rates against a country with low interest rates, that's a pair you may want to look at to see, because eventually those if we get to an extreme, there's the return to the mean idea. So this is a good foundational template. Now you can't really see what's going on anywhere, but I want to pay attention here. But particularly, I want to see this. And then if I'm digging into any activity in one of these pairs, or I see something that might affect that market, or something that I'm already in, well, then I'm going to go look at it. And well, let's do something. Well, here's the yen. So we want to look at that and say, all right, what's going on here? Now I happen to have a trade here in a paper trading. In the paper trading account, which I set up just to demonstrate for you guys how to use it here. So this has got a nice winner on it. It's essentially a one lot here or 100,000 contract. So that's it's been in good shape here. We're giving some back here, so I'm watching how it's going to how it's going to react at the golden zone. But I digress. So as we look here. Okay, so this is a base level here. What could be affecting? And if there's something that's going to be impact, so these are all U.S. reports. If there's something going to be affecting the dollar, well, that's going to affect potentially everything here. So we want to look at relationships between currencies. So you want to see what's strong, what's weak. So if you were approaching the market, you had no trades on, you're just getting started in foreign exchange, you want to get a sense of how the currencies are moving relative to one another. So I'm going to show you an easy way to do that. So we want to have somewhere, right? I keep it this way. I don't care what's up here. You got to put something up here because this is an indicator, right? So this is kind of it's similar to something that I use. So every day, right, when my day starts here, this is what I'm staring at when I'm looking at FX. And again, remember I'm doing this on MT4, but I just want to show you this is essentially the same thing. So I'm going to make these bigger. So I have this up on a monitor in front of me every day. So I'm watching. I want to see what's strong, what's weak here, given, right, so what the time frame is here. So I typically will keep this on a 1 hour. So I want to see what's moving. And particularly, I'm interested in crosses, when they're crossing one another, because I have potential here for a trade that I might be interested in. Well, we can replicate that. Let me shrink that down a bit. We can replicate that right here in TradingView. All right, so here's what it looks like. So I've got my 7 majors here, and I have the US dollar. So very, very important to look at this. So we can see if we're looking for trading ideas, in particular, we want to see crosses at 0. So here, look, the blue line is the Aussie dollar, the yellow line is the Swiss. So you can see as that crossed, now we've gone to an extreme here. Now they're starting to draw more towards one another. Well, let me show you where to get this. So this is a script by Just Uncle L. He's actually got some good work. So I would search him out. You can just go to the scripts and you can search for 8-pair strength, right? Free indicator. Drop it right on your chart. Just add it to your favorites. Put it right in there. Very, very powerful here. So we can see what's moving relative to what currencies are moving relative to other currencies. So what we want to avoid are currency pairs if we're looking for a trade, for example. We want, so I can take this off here. We want to avoid trades that are moving, pairs that are moving in the same direction. We're looking for, particularly we're looking for the crosses. That can be a good time to be looking at a trade. So here now we see the Aussie and the CAD had been moving the same way. Now we're getting a little separation, but they're both essentially moving lower together. But look what's happened here with the euro relative to the Swiss, right? So I look at that and go, looks like that's getting to an extreme. Maybe I want to look there. Or do we have something more substantial? So that can often be a reason to go look. You know, if you're looking for trade ideas for the day and say, there's some, maybe we're at an extreme, maybe you're at a third wave. There's some reason that you've got this disparity between rates, right? So these are particularly interesting times to be watching the market. Let me do this down here. Yeah, right there. So you have this cluster as they're crossing one another. So those can be times to be looking for trend continuation at that cross, right? But just as you're coming in to start the day, what's strong, what's weak, and this is a nice visual way to get a read on it. So I would encourage you to have that in addition to this here. They tie together, right? So this is going to be what's strong, what's weak on the day, right? It can be a place to go start looking for ideas. Now, in that same spirit of setup, right? So we're not going to get into hunting for trades just yet, right? So we've been over this layout here. We've got this so we can see those strengths. Again, how to get that indicator right. So all it is, it's just an indicator applied to a chart, right? So that's all we're doing here, but I don't care what the chart is. I just want to see this. So I keep that somewhere. Now, additionally, I don't know if you guys know this, but we come over here, you can look through, so here we can go for the major markets. I can see here reports as well. So I can always check here if I want to look for anything that's coming on. So for the day, now we have the only two things left are one high impact, one medium impact, and that's for the Aussie dollar. All right, so just keep in mind here, you've got a lot of really powerful tools here. Let's go. We got ideas. We got all sorts of places here we can do some filtering on what's happening in the FX market. Now, another, just so you're aware of it, because I've talked about this before, this has been the default place to go to look for a report schedule, and this is forexfactory.com. You just go to calendar and you'll see those events. You can filter them, but, so if you only want high impact, keep them filtered. But you absolutely have got to know when those reports are coming. Easiest way is just keep it here. Now, additionally, we have to look for correlations. So here is an example where I have it. So I have the economic events can be actually marked on your chart. And I would suggest you do that, particularly in Forex, because it's very easy to forget. So the way to do that here is just, so I just keep the euro up here as the default. We want to go to events and alerts. So here we can show economic events on the chart. Right? And if you want past, or you want to see all the history, that's fine. But I typically will only look at future events. Right? So click here so we can see what's coming here. So you don't forget, something's coming that could move the market. All right, so that's, again, if you can do it this way. If you don't want to see that, or if you just want to look over here, if you don't want this on the chart, it's getting in the way of your analysis, you have options. All right, so in this particular case, I'm just going to leave it here so you can see this, but I'm going to pull this off so we can get into this chart. Now, what I'm looking for here, if I've if I've looked at a pair for whatever reason, I'm over here and I'm like, oh, I want to look at something's just happened. There's been a cross or we're at extremes. I'm anticipating some sort of reversal or a reason to go look to start digging into the technicals. I've already checked to see if there are any reports that could impact that spread in the time frame that I'm considering getting into the trade. When you have this established, and now we're going to go back over here. Right? We want to look at the global trends, I guess we'll say it that way. So always important in the foreign exchange markets is the correlation to other markets. So we want to see what's happening in the broadest, if we think of world assets, flow of capital. So these are two free. So the first one is called, let's bring this up here. So it's the correlation. So I think if you just search under tickers for correlation, let's see if I can do it under scripts. So if correlation coefficient, there it is. So it's CC. All right. So here's the default. So when you're over to that chart, let me just bring it up here. So if you went to add the indicator, you would just search for, you just type in CC and you'll see correlation coefficient. Right? The other one is called correlate 3. Same idea. You just go to, it may even be in here, actually. It's called correlate. Here it is. Correlate 3. Right? So I can look at comparisons between major flows of capital. So let's go back over here. So what I want to see is what's happening with gold. So first, let me open this up for you. So this is correlation 3. So now it's going to default to stocks, bonds, and this could be whatever pair you were trading in or looking at or considering. But you don't have to use these particular. But what you can do is just color code them. So you've got 1, 2, and 3 in that order. So what I have here is in blue. I've got the S&P 500. In white, because it's you've got to watch what's going on in crude and foreign exchange. So I have crude in there, and then I will have gold. Okay, so I've got gold, right? Obviously, right? So gold keeps so it's easy on your eye. So I've got a 50 period, but you can change this to whatever you like. So it's going to look very different if I go to 100 period or 200 period. We want to look for those moments in time where we have true correlation. So you can see it right here. So if we go back to the early parts of the year, look at the strong correlation between the stock market and crude. Then when the market went through its correction, you see them diverging here. So we want to get a feel for where money is flowing. Now, additionally, because really you would want to keep track of 4. You'd want to keep track of gold, the broader U.S. index, the S&P 500, and crude. In addition, you'd want to look at the dollar index. Well, the dollar index is essentially the closest thing will be the euro. So I will typically look here for the euro. I may also look for the yen, or if I'm zeroing in on a particular trade or particular pair, I want to look for correlation in case I have any other positions open, or I'm looking at multiple pairs and I may consider diversifying into 2 or 3 different currency pairs. I want to avoid high correlation because I'm essentially doubling my risk. All right, so right, you're doubling your profit potential, but you can't be oblivious to that is kind of the point. You have to understand how strong that correlation is at any moment in time to avoid getting over leveraged because a pair of currencies are moving moving in line, right? Step by like the correlation here between oil and the stock market here, and then we see this divergence, right? So those are important to be taking note of when you see that capital flow. The other thing you can do, which you guys may know, so if I'm looking up here at the euro to the dollar, and I want to compare it to, I don't know, let's compare it to gold. So U to USD, that would be a CFD. Oh, I got a typo. Sorry, XAU USD. All right, so there's. Oh, I've got CFD. So there it is. So we can do that. So I want to look at, so if I wanted to see how it was correlated to gold, right? What's that correlation look like? So visually on the chart, I can see it. So I can get that, that view to, here we're in correlation. They look, relatively, it's not dramatic, but now they seem to be moving lower. Now the euro's moving up and gold's moving down. It's just another place. Or if you were looking at the euro and you wanted to see it correlate to the yen. So in this case, I'm going to take this off here. I'm going to just highlight that. I think I can just get it off. So here's the euro. I want to see how that would compare to the yen. Right? We have very negative correlation. So if I was looking at dollar euro versus dollar yen, I don't have a correlation issue. Right? They're essentially moving in opposite directions. It's very low correlation. Right? They've been in higher correlation. Right? But it's not common for them to be in correlation. So here, this is a bit unusual. The expectation would be that eventually they would go into a negative correlation. So that can be useful, right? It's not the norm. The norm is that there's low correlation. So as we reset this, this is an effective way. Now, so I have news reports here. I can change the correlation here. Same thing here. I can just go in here and say, well, what do I want to check for that correlation? I can just put whatever currency or whatever asset you'd like in there. Right? So if I want to do pair-to-pair correlation, I can do that here. And then I want to look at world flow of capital, right? How are we moving? How is this moving relative to gold? How is gold moving relative to crude? And how is the market responding to those two? And you can take this down to, this is a 4-hour chart at a 50 period. You can get more precise than that. But this is a good just base level of, all right, where's money moving? Where's it moving to? That can be part of your analysis in terms of where you want to allocate capital. But it's essential that you avoid over-correlation in two trades. But you might do it and not realize that you've doubled your risk. All right, so that's kind of a recap here. So let me go back here. So we've got these right in here. You can always check the calendar here. You can go to overview, ideas, rate, currency. There's all sorts of things here which you guys know. So we can check if we're looking at performance. You've got all sorts of different ways to look for trades in here. If you're trend following, do we have trending markets? All right, you guys have probably been in here and played with this a little bit. We've got the default setup that's going to have your 7 majors plus gold. And then I want reports over here so I don't forget, don't miss them. And then I want this here. I want to see who's strong, who's weak on the day. Is there a trend here that I can play or look for, anticipating it to correct? Right. So a good example, the Swiss was where's my Swiss? Here's my Swiss here. So the Swiss was very hot. Right. Look at this correlation here. So this is Swiss to the euro. Right. Extreme opposites. Now look what's happened here. Now they've changed. Right. You see that? So if I guess you can see it right here. So you see the spread here. Right, now look at it. It's reversed completely. Right, here was the dollar. Dollar's always in green. Dollar to the Swiss. Look at the cross. Right, so as soon as that starts crossing, probably had a little bit of a little retracement here, but now look, they're moving in correlation. Right, so during this period of time they come together. Now the Swiss is bumping up and the dollar's still going down over this time frame here. This is I got oh shit, what have I got here? Well, I've got it. So this is a 60. Right, so you can look at this. So again, it's you choose your time frame. You want to look on a daily. You can do that. I want to see as I'm starting the day. So we can look. This is essentially yesterday to today. Right? You see that. You see these moving. But if you're looking for trades, it's a place to come. Who's strong? Who's weak on the day? Right? A lot of different ways to look at it. I just find this one has always appealed to me because I'm so used to looking at it on MT4. All right, so that's 23 minutes. That's probably enough for setup. All right, so I would encourage you guys to set up something like this. If you're going to do this, all right, set it up this way. Now come back and we'll look at some order execution. I don't know if you guys realize how very good this has become. It's particularly attractive for Forex trading because they're just making it damn near idiot proof. Okay, guys, let me wrap there and I'll be back with another one later.